What's up, everybody? Today we are test driving the 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander SE Black Edition. Of course, the current Mitsubishi Outlander is based on the same chassis as the Nissan Rogue, but there are some key differences. I have driven a 2023 Rogue as well. The Rogue that I drove had the 3-cylinder 1.5-liter VC turbo engine. This Outlander has the 2.5 non-turbo 4-cylinder, and I have to say I like this engine better. I think the overall level of refinement is better with this 2.5 liter, and I think that even though it's rated at 181 horsepower, it actually performs better than that. I mean, it feels faster than 181 horsepower. Let me just put it that way. This is a very good performer for the class and, you know, based on the standards. So I like this engine better than the one that you get in the Nissan Rogue. I think that the suspension in the Rogue is probably a little bit more refined. This one has a little bit more body motions, especially around town. And if you hit a pothole on city streets, you really feel it in this Outlander. It's jarring. Obviously, we're on the freeway now. I haven't noticed it quite as bad here. This car actually seems to get a little bit more composed at higher speeds, which is a pleasant feature to have. But yeah, on city streets, and we'll take it on city streets a little later, or at least sort of surface streets, it's less refined. But it's still refined enough, and I have to say, overall, I like this car better than the Rogue. It has a little bit more personality. I think I like the way it looks better. I definitely like the engine better. Yeah, if I was gonna recommend one or the other, I think the Outlander's the way to go. I think it's the better value, and I actually prefer it as a car. Let's see, we'll do a little refinement test here. 70 miles an hour. So that's the wind speed, or wind noise, I should say, and road noise at that speed on a pretty decent freeway. This freeway is not bad. I really like the transmission in this car too. It's people on it's a CVT, it's the worst thing ever. This is actually a really good transmission. It's super smooth. It gives you a very wide range of gear ratios. You're at under 2,000 RPM at a steady 70 mile per hour cruise on the highway when it's, you know, just kicking along. So I think the powertrain in general, the engine and the transmission, are very good. The steering is pretty much par for the course on a modern car. It's accurate, but you have no feel whatsoever. I like the feel of the steering wheel in my hand. Yeah, you know, this car, there's a certain charm to it. And maybe because even though it's based on a Nissan platform, they've made it feel just different enough. The gauges in this car, the digital gauge cluster, is different from the Rogue that I drove. The ride is a little different. The way the suspension works is a little different. The engine is different. The front end is very bold and stylish on this car. And I like it. Sometimes you gotta be different, you know? And SUVs have become so common, you know, and this is right in there with the Honda CR-Vs, Toyota RAV4s, Nissan Rogues, you know, some of the most popular cars on sale today. And if you want to be a little different, here you go. It's a little different. good composure at higher speeds. I don't know why, we got some big rigs pulled over there. They're having a little truckers meeting. We have now merged onto the Riverside Freeway, which is never predictable. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go a little further on down here, and then we'll take it on a little drive on some surface streets. All right, driving the Rogue on regular streets. The ride is a little bumpier, especially at lower speeds. It almost puts me in mind of an old body-on-frame SUV. It's like they tried to instill it with the spirit of an old Montero, because, I don't know, the body structure just kind of has some shakes in it, and somehow you don't feel it on the highway, but you do on the street. It's weird. It's different, I'll give it that. You know, automakers just try to make SUVs like cars now, which is sort of fair enough because that's how most people use them. But this one actually has kind of an SUV feel to it, which to have a real SUV feel, there needs to be an element of roughness, rough and tumble. And this one kind of has that. You've got the kind of squat when you accelerate, the back end goes down. I do like this engine better than that 1.5 liter VC turbo in the Nissan. That one, it felt really gruff and unrefined at low RPMs when it was in its high compression mode, and then at higher RPMs when it switched into lower compression with more turbo boost, it felt a lot more refined. This one just feels more refined all the time because there's a lot less trickery going on. It just sort of is what it is. But yeah, even little bumps, it's like they get amplified through the body structure. Smooth road. Not a smooth road. I never understood this. On this particular road, one of the lanes is paved really nicely and this one just isn't. And I guess it all merges into one, so who cares? I was trying to find a decent pothole. I thought there might be one there. There was a couple of potholes I hit near my work that just shook the whole car and really surprised me with how hard it hit the suspension. But, well, and there's the rather loud vibratory motor on the steering wheel when you're drifting out of your lane. But yeah, overall, I do like driving this car. I wouldn't say it's the best driving car in the class, but I almost might say it has some of the best personality in its class. And at this point in time, these little compact SUVs have gotten so boring that that's almost better to me. So I like the Mitsubishi Outlander. It gets my stamp of approval. Is it a fantastic car? No, but it's likable and it's very good. I wouldn't call it fantastic, I would call it very good. So that is my final conclusion on the Mitsubishi Outlander SE Black Edition. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I'll put a link to my full review on this car down there as well. Always drive safely and have yourself a fantastic day. Bye-bye. Holy crap, that thing sounds horrible. Now you're telling me